Hey light travelers, welcome back to part 2 of this video. We pick back up here in Wyoming, heading to the next rest area. It's area number 2. Hold on a second. Ain't no way. It works. How about some lunch? Oh, hey. Don't mind me, just grabbing some tortillas. I guess you can come with too. Can't forget the cheese. Hello and welcome to the Roadside Cooking Show. On the menu for today, we've got cheese quesadillas. Perfect. And now we wait. Well, we'll eventually flip it over, but for now we wait. After a few minutes, she's done. All right, y'all, we're back in the car now here at the Chugwater Rest Area with cool rock formations. We made some lunch, got a cool free Wyoming highway map right here. I used to collect these as a kid, not so much anymore. You hardly ever see them at the rest areas nowadays, but saw one, had to have it. Let's get back out on the road. The angels were crying as they carried his brothers away, with the fire raining down and the hell all around. Behind me, so I'm just gonna take the camera and show you these cool rock formations real quick. That's just so cool. All right, back to the road. The clear blue sky, 1965, the 8th of November. I'm driving down Interstate 25 here, and I wanted to bring out something interesting that I know just as a major road fan or a road geek, and some of you may not know that may be important to know if you're somewhere without a map or something like that. So, of course, everyone knows for the most part that your odd number interstates are going to go north to south, and your even numbers are going to go east to west. Common knowledge for probably about 90% of drivers out there, but there's a little bit of a code where it gets deeper from that. So your interstates that are ending in 0, so your 10s, your 80s, your 90s, your 40s, they're going to be coast-to-coast interstates. Now, what I will say is there are exceptions to every rule, because I know you're going to go down there and talk about, well, Interstate 20, Interstate 30 don't go coast-to-coast. I'm aware of that. But for the most part, the rule states when the Interstate Highway Act was created, the interstates that end in 0 are going to be coast-to-coast interstates. Now, your interstates that end in 5, now in the western United States, they're going to run from Canada to Mexico for the most part. And in the eastern United States, they're going to end up in Canada for the most part, but they're just routes of major regional importance. So you've got interstates like 95, which is probably one of the most well-known out there, 75, which runs from South Florida all the way up to Canada. And then in the western United States, you got Interstate 5 that runs from Canada to Mexico. Interstate 15 that basically runs from Canada to Mexico, ends a few miles short of the Mexican border. But now Interstate 25, although it doesn't run from Canada to Mexico, reason why it gets that 5 designation, hold on one second, we got a car on the side of the road right here that I'm going to move out of the way of. Somebody's helping somebody, that's pretty cool. Interstate 25, although it doesn't run from Canada to Mexico, it's actually part of the Canamex Trade Corridor, which is a big corridor used to get trade from Canada through the United States to Mexico. So, and that was created, I believe, after Interstate 25 was, designated. But for the most part, your interstates that are running from north to south in the west are going to run from Canada to Mexico. And in the east, are going to be of significant regional importance. But you may not know that about the interstate system, and now you do. Welcome to Cheyenne, capital of Wyoming, home of the famous Frontier Days Rodeo, state capital number 12 for me. So let's get out and explore what Cheyenne's all about. So somebody did that. The boot fits. Congress Avenue wishes it was that cool. That is a huge squirrel. I mean, look at the size of that thing. Now that's funny. Although Wyoming ranks dead last in population by U.S. states, Cheyenne comes in as the 36th most populous state capital, a rather respectable number for how sparsely populated the state is. Cheyenne is also the most populous city in Wyoming, barely beating out Casper by just under 10,000 residents, although Casper has a higher density of population. Roughly 20% of the entire population of Wyoming resides in the Cheyenne metro. Now let's talk some Cheyenne and Wyoming history. Cheyenne was founded in 1867 as the first Union Pacific Railroad town site, being designated on July 4th at the location of the railroad crossing Crow Creek. It's believed the town was named for the Cheyenne Indians, fierce warriors of the Great Plains. In what was still Dakota Territory, Cheyenne grew quickly, earning the nickname the Magic City of the Plains for the speed in which it grew. Cheyenne has forever been tied to the railroad. Many of its districts were laid out by railroad engineers, and in its early days, the same streets bore names of famous railroaders. Although it endured much of the same strife as many a Wild West town, Cheyenne was named the temporary capital of the new Wyoming Territory in May of 1869, just 2 years after it had been designated as a town site. It later became the state capital once Wyoming was admitted to the Union in 1890, and has stayed as such ever since. Also, another fun fact for you, Wyoming was actually one of the first places in the United States to grant women the right to vote. Alright, back here in the camping mobile. Well, I guess the driving mobile technically right now. Cheyenne did not disappoint. Very cool town, but we got places to be, so we gotta go find camp for the night, so let's get on out of here.
Let's have one crack at this thing. Try to bring in the runs. 4-0 lead for the Mets, trying to add on late.
At this point, I knew where I was headed for the day, but it's just nice sometimes to just get on the road and just let it go wherever it takes you, or just go wherever without a plan. Although traveling with a plan is nice, and you can plan out things you want to see and do along the way on a good road trip, and there's no harm in that, but sometimes it's just nice to just get out and go and see what's out there. You see a lot of cool stuff that way. Found our campsite here. Gonna set the tent up here in the Laramie Mountains, and let me just show you this view out here. That is a serious view, if I'd have to say so myself. This, my friends, is what we like to call a view. Oh, and I got the tent set up too. Did that off camera. Yeah. Alrighty, everybody. We're turning in for the night here in the tent, actually, not in the camping mobile. We just hung out and watched baseball for most nights, so not really stuff that y'all would probably be interested in. But we're turning in for the night, so see you guys later.